This is the old city of Mosul. But 2 years after ISIL's defeat, Iraq's victory has not still meant the restoration of life as it was before the war. Much of the city remains in ruins. More than 300,000 people are still displaced. A mix of sectarian division, unemployment, and security concerns linger on.
The main threat and danger remains the neglect of reconstruction in Mosul. The displaced are still living in limbo. All these issues have not been given serious enough attention by the Iraqi government.
The Iraqi government says it's doing all it can and asking international partners to help rebuild the city. UN agencies estimate it could take tens of millions of dollars in 10 years just to remove mines and explosives. Mosul was the capital of ISIL's self-declared caliphate in Iraq, and its leader Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi made his only public appearance from the city. It was a tough fight in an urban terrain and posed a challenge to the Iraqi army, which had earlier retreated from Mosul. But Iraq's security forces had two important allies, a US-led coalition and Iran-backed Shia militias. And back then, the United States acknowledged their efforts.
Right now, they had a great role in liberating Iraq. What is their next role? I don't know what that will be. That's a decision for the government of Iraq.
It was an uneasy convergence, with sworn enemies fighting on the same side against a common target.
It is obvious that Iran and the US are enemies, but Iraq managed to bring them closer in the fight against ISIL. There was a marriage of convenience between Iran and the US back then, given the fact there was no direct contact between the two sides in the Battle of Mosul. In the current escalation between the two countries, I think it is quite difficult for both sides to cooperate or have their interests cross paths.
Since then, the US and Iran have designated each other's militaries as terrorists. The escalating tensions has kept the region on edge, including Iraq, which has offered to find common ground between Washington and Tehran. The government in Baghdad and the people of Mosul need help to rebuild what was destroyed in the war. And many here say that cannot happen unless all parties who had a role in inflicting the damage take responsibility for the reconstruction.
Most people in Mosul are living one day at a time, with a lack of basic services and jobs and bleak future prospects. Analysts believe that winning the war against ISIL was probably the easy part. The real challenge is maintaining the peace in the long run. Osama bin Javaid, Al Jazeera, Baghdad.